Just want to make sure I don't miss the actual live trades because that'll be good for review. So just to recap for the recording, what we've done here is I've drawn some levels here on AMC and GameStop. GameStop and AMC are both in the process of being halted repeatedly to the downside, so we're going to catch the potential long opportunity here off one of these levels. So they both just kind of filled their gap. So right now, in 2 minutes, this candle will probably close. Ideally, it closes red. At which point, this I'm just going to move out of the way because it's not relevant. At which point, I'm going to look for a small red candle and then a bigger engulf candle to give me defined entry, defined risk, and then I can pick my profit at the top. That's the approach here. But it's got to be in an area of potential value, which is where these structural lines of support and resistance come in. So we got 90 seconds left on this candle. And if that happens, I'll just move this down to here, and that'll be my threshold. So I'm just letting it crunch into the support zone. And then when it breaks, that's when I take an entry. Did I create the Webull design? You mean the layout? I might have. So if you click and drag stuff and you hold it like between the lines, you'll see like a dock that pops up, and that'll tell you kind of where you can put stuff. I'll walk through it after this trade if you want, if that's a little easier. We got 60 seconds left on this candle, so let's see if this one breaks. GameStop's still halted, and we're probably going to get halted pretty soon on AMC because this volume is creeping up fast. And also for the sake of the recording and people that just joined, I can hold control right now, and I'll buy $50 worth of the stock, so I'm not going super heavy, but it's not a huge account, so less than 10%, and then even smaller because it's a high-risk position. So we got 30 seconds left on this candle. And notice I'm not trying to get it just because it's down here, because that's how you end up in a situation like that. I'm going to wait till the price is breaking over where the bears had control last, and that's the top of the candle. And even this, I mean, this is a pretty sizable risk for what it is. It's a 40-cent risk. So I do got to still be a little bit careful here. So I'm going to move this down prematurely because it's got 1 second left on that candle. And I'm reducing my risk range here by moving that closer and closer to the support level. That's the only reason I'm doing that. So now 628 is the threshold. So what I could do here is I could do a buy stop order, $50, and I could do $6.29. And I'll just go ahead and place that because we can, right? And then if that breaks and we get that price movement, that'll put my stop below 586. I'm going to disable or no, you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to change this to 4. There we go. All right, so I got filled at 6:30 for 7 shares. So this is my second of 3 day trades. So now what I can do is I can do my 6:30 minus 586. That's a 44-cent difference plus 630. 674 is my 1-to-2 ratio. Oh no, I lied. I'm sorry. 0.44 times 2. I got to double it. Plus 6 there. I thought that was super low. 718 is my sell target for my at least 4 of the shares. And we're halted. Okay, but at least this time we're halted to the upside. So that's a good, hopefully a good item. So now if I zoom out, right, because we don't want to just stay zoomed in all the time. What we have effectively done is waited for this huge, massive sell-off to stop, right? And that's not necessarily that it's stopped indefinitely. It's just stopped for right now. It's holding support so far, and we're just catching an engulf, so a change of direction to the upside on increased volume. So easy peasy. And more importantly, we can justify this, and we have defined risk. So in this case, I'll just go ahead and move this down here. We'll repeat the same process, but I'm not actually going to trade GameStop. But you guys can see the process. Sorry, I couldn't read all the chat. Let me just... Rook, so why on the way to... yeah, it's just the direction took it down and the volume halted it. So in this case, right, if we were to try to trade a breakout over here, okay, that is a That's a $4.69, like 11.5 cents. So we'd need to go 23% to the upside to get that same 1-to-2 ratio, which would be right about there. Certainly doable, right? But it's a bigger risk, you know, at that point, because your stop loss will be down here at $36 and your entry's up here at $40. So it's a 10% risk right there, 11.5% risk. And then a 23% reward, which again is good, but ideally we want to get it nice and close to this level. We want a nice tight engulf so that we can keep that risk as small as possible. And you're going to have these throughout the day. It doesn't necessarily have to be at a level. You just tend to get the better profits. Like this one right here, easy engulf, small win, perfect, at least a 1-to-2 right there. Whereas this right here, you would have just stopped out probably. And that's okay, right? It's par for the course. You know, every loss should be outweighed by less than one win. So every win should outweigh several losses, as long as you have a good risk reward. So this one is halted for another 3 minutes. So we'll see what that does when it pops out. One thing that I can do is I can do number of shares here, and I want to sell more than half of them at 7.18. I'm just going to punch this in, and then whether or not I use it, you know, kind of depends on where the price goes. So if the price goes down and it drops below 586 and it hits, you know, or 585, if we break into a new low, I can just hold control and hit 3, and it will close this position altogether. It'll sell all 7 shares at market. If it goes up, then I can manually hit this button, place a sell order, and lock in the majority of my position in profit at 718 or higher. And that's it. So this candle here has about 25 seconds left on it, but it's not a red candle. So I'm not going to move this threshold down, because remember, the goal is to overtake where the bears were. It's not to just get into a lower portion of where they're already in control. So so we'll probably see another couple candles here, and then grabbing a small red one off that would be ideal. Just erase that. And then we got less than a minute on this one, probably 45 seconds. So we'll see if that pops open. I'm just going to keep my mouse here, right? My right hand is on my mouse. It's over here. My finger is off the button because I don't want to, you know, get heavy finger and hit the button. My left hand has my pinky hanging onto the control key, not pressing it until right now I'm pressing it, but fingers just kind of sitting on the key. And then I've got my my right hand can move over and hit control 3 really quick and close it if I need to, if it gaps to the downside. Otherwise, I'm going to look to place this order probably pretty soon if it just pops up real fast. So we'll see what we get here in about 20 seconds or less. And we shall see. And after this, I have one more trade that I can do on this portfolio before I hit my 3-day trade limit. All right, so we should be unhalting any second now. It's typically a 5-minute halt, but I didn't catch the number of seconds into the 16 mark, so we'll have to wait and see what we get. But it should unhalt any second now. There we go. So we're unhalted. 650. All right, it's finding some resistance. We'll just let it shake out. There's 60. There's 70. I'm just watching this time in sales here because it's going crazy. 680. And at this point, we have 3 candles formed. So if we get 2 more bullish candles with higher lows, we get the 5-candle rule in effect. And if that takes place above 718, then I'll sell the rest of my position when that breaks. Now, there's 690. And yeah, we're going to blast through 7. Look at this. So this 101K wall here, and we've got another 100K here. That's the algos stacked up waiting for volume threshold tests, and they're very clearly being passed right now. So it shouldn't have any issues getting through 7. And then that should put us up in the 730 to 750 range, in my opinion. course, we don't know that till it happens, but that's what should happen. In terms of pullback, we are at the 25% range right here at 699. I'm sorry, maybe that was 689. And then at that point, we kind of enter the dangerous territory, the indecision zone. So now it's just a matter of, is the trend going to bounce off this gap like everyone wants it to, or are they going to suppress it, slam it down, and then let it rip potentially, or continue to sell to new low? And we didn't have to predict anything. We'll probably get halted again here in a second. I see GameStop's halted. There's massive volume on this thing. So sorry about the pop-up here, and sorry about the lack of formal stream for this. I kind of just wanted to record this locally, and I just noticed that these were getting into some pretty tasty areas. I wanted to make sure we didn't leave you guys hanging all day. But this is effectively how you can snipe the bottom of a gap if you want. And I didn't guess on any part of this. I just waited till the certain things happened. We're above 690 now. Let's see if we hold and push over 7. Take a look at that order book. Here comes the 102 wall. There it goes. And we should see it chipped away and then just pulled. And then that'll be split between 2 walls here probably. These small walls are volume threshold tests. Let's see if they get consumed. This wall will probably get bigger if there's like an uncertain rate here. I'm actually surprised. There we go, 103. They might kick it up to like 120 and then watch it get chipped away. This is a 6800 order right here, chipped and gone. So this is a volume threshold test. This is the smaller walls that they determine the rate of burn as a bid-ask wall is eroded, and then eventually they'll pull it because they don't want to get filled at $7. They just want to use that to scare people. So if enough of these small walls, there we go. So they pulled it, they moved it down here. Oh no, they didn't. Wow, okay. Well, anyway, gone now. Now we'll see if we get over 720. Remember, the target range here is 730 to 750. So I'm going to sell just below that at 718. I'm going to sell 4 of my 7 shares. And then GameStop will still be halted the whole time, probably. All right, I'm going to go ahead and place my sell order. Oh, yeah, see? Checklist, guys. I wasn't trying to sell it there. I hit buy by mistake. All right, so I'm just going to sell my 4 shares, and then I'll have 3 left. And we're halted 3 cents below my level. Sucks. That's how it goes, guys. So while we're halted, how are you guys doing? Thank you, Top. It's pretty fun. I like these little bounces. Hope your week is going okay. What I will do also is I'm going to queue up this order here to sell 2 of these shares, right? And we're going to shoot for 840, 838. And I'll just I'll draw a line there. Push this up to 838. And that'll kind of be my second. Now this one's going to be a little bit riskier because I don't want to try to sell right at the top of the gap. But I do kind of want to sell right above this inefficiency here, just in case. Sell during video call. Yeah. Sorry, I had some background noise here. Amazing and horrible. Okay. So if anyone's struggling today, whether it's there we go. GameStop is open. So right here, if we would have entered this position, I'll just draw this out real quick, and then I'll get back to my speech. Okay, so this would be the risk, 36, so 4072, right? 4072 minus 36 times 2 plus 4072 is 5016. So your 1 to 2 take profit would be up here. Did I say that was 5016? Okay. Sorry, I just want to map that out. So that would be that trade there if you wanted to do a 1 to 2. Yeah, so if anyone is struggling, whether it's with the FOMO, the temptation, and wanting to jump into stuff, or if you've been burned on a day like today, like selling before something rockets, or holding something as it sells off, or getting stuck in a bunch of halts, or having theta decay destroy your position, or IV crush, or anything where we're emotionally influenced, there isn't much you can do to rewind time, right? What you can do is take what's left and work with that more efficiently and more effectively and use the lesson. But we can't go back in time, and that creates a lot of stress. Obviously, once we realize a loss, it's real, right? And we want to undo that, but we can't. That type of stress is cognitive dissonance because we're putting our mind somewhere where we can't follow, right? And that's very stressful. So in order to kind of overcome that, we kind of have to reframe things. And if you're new, it might feel like you're just lying to yourself. But, you know, understanding that you still have money left and that you have a very valuable set of data in front of you pertaining to that trade gives you kind of a blueprint for how you can structure your trades going forward, right? And every blueprint is just one line at a time, okay? So if, for example, you lost 30% of your portfolio on one trade, that's a symptom of FOMO and greed, and it just means that you were over allocated. Or maybe you were on too small of a portfolio to trade that specific type of thing, which forced you to over allocate, right? Which is just FOMO and greed because you want to still trade it even though you shouldn't. If you got stuck in something like like repeated halts to the downside, for example, that happens. There's nothing you can do about that. You don't control the market, unfortunately. You know, if you're trading specifically like AMC and GME and Plug and all the ones that are up double digits for the day, small positions are much, much safer. So if you're getting hurt on that stuff, it's usually a position allocation thing, especially if you're feeling a lot of strong emotions. And that is something that we can control. We can work on that, right? And obviously, like, nobody's going to be perfect at it, so don't beat yourself up. You know, you just have to have that look in the mirror and be like, okay, what did I do, and how can I do it differently so that this specific obstacle doesn't hurt me in the future? And that's just the trading journey in a nutshell, all of it. Every single day, you're going to have something that just you want to do differently, right? Can we look at save? Yeah, exactly, top. Trade what you know, study what you don't. That's our old mantra. 100% true. If you don't know something, you shouldn't be trading it, in my opinion. You can study the hell out of it. Get all the experience, all the value is in watching. It's not necessarily in doing. All right, so there we go. So my 4 shares out of 7 sold. And now I've got my second sell target here at 838. I'm going to sell 2 of my remaining 3 shares if it gets that high. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So this is the 5th candle in a row. So in about 4 minutes, we're going to find out if we have a 5 candle rule in effect. Otherwise, we're just going to sell here at 838. Some of it. We'll sell some more. So can I look at save? I will in a little bit. I just want to get this trade out of the way, or at least halt it again, just so that I don't mess myself up. We got a wall at 770. It's another 100K wall. So this is effectively a 3-bar play right here. So this bar should be roughly the same size, 69 cents. We got about another 17 cents from there. Should be right about here, 820. Or no, that's not the right. Yeah, we should 820 on this one anyway, but we're approaching. All right, so the 770 wall didn't even get tested. They just pulled it, broke it up. You can see these walls right here, these smaller walls. They're just fragments of that big wall. Jeez, that was interesting. They just pushed it. All right, so we're running into some liquidity here, and we'll see if we can break through this this wick right here. If not, we'll probably pull back down, but otherwise we should be fine. There was a lot of strength at that 770 wall. Either way, 2.5 minutes, and then we'll find out if we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 candles in a row, at which point I'll move the stop loss up nice and tight underneath this previous candle, and then I'll sell 2 of my remaining 3 shares at that point if we break below the next any subsequent candle. Okay, so we're up 20%, 21%. So anyone who's maybe a little bit risk averse, this would be an opportunity to just manually lock in some profits, because again, we have this resistance area right here. Don't just hold because you think it's going to go up more. If you're not sure, you can always lock in those profits. If you want to hold because you have conviction in it, that's great, but don't just hold and hope, because that's a great way to not be consistent with your trading. All right, so now we got some bid walls. So we've got symmetry bots on here now, which is awesome. That's what I like, because that's going to lead to highs and lows being formed. So anyone who isn't familiar with the symmetry bots, they're just zone recovery algos, and basically their job is just to control price within ranges and then get closer and closer and closer, and then eventually they overlap, they overcompress in volatility, and then one of them gets destroyed, and then the winner chases it up or down. So we're probably going to get zone locked here for a little bit. This volume is insane. If you guys want to see some insanity, watch this tick dart. Switch this over to Heikenashe. It's insanity. Don't look at that if you value your sanity. All right, we got less than a minute on this candle, and then I move my stop loss up here for 2 of my 3 shares, that is. I forgot what I was just talking about. Anywho. All right, so I've locked in. I've realized 1% of my portfolio value today, which is good. A lot of people are like, ah, that's not crap. It is. It is. It's, 1% compounds nicely over the course of a year. So if 1% is not satisfactory for you, we can optimize that, but just understand that you're going to be taking a lot more risk than you have to be successful if you're not happy with 1% in a day. All right, 5th candle in a row. Therefore, I'm going to move the stop loss up right under that. So as soon as we break below 715, I'll probably just sell 2 of my 3 shares. I think I'll leave the 3rd one. Nah, we'll just close it completely. I'll just hit Control-3 and I'll just exit. Actually, you know what that means? We'll just set a bracket. Let's do that. So 714 and then 838. We'll have a little bracket set up. It's going to hit one of these 2 levels. I don't care which one. Oh, sorry. This needs to be 714. My bad. Hopefully it doesn't mess me up. There we go. Sorry, I want it to be 1 cent below the low of this candle, not just the low of that candle. And now we can watch it on the 1 minute, and it can be crazy. Here, we'll zoom in really far, and it'll look really, really insane when it starts to move one direction or the other. 1 cent below, just because I don't want to get filled at a specific candle high or low, just because that's the way the algos fill. I don't want to be priority fill. I want to be just underneath it. It's the same reason we don't typically get filled at a 5 or a 0. Yeah, we'll do this. So it looks like I'm probably going to get stopped out here. Yeah, it's sustained down here. It's going to push down. Did that really just get halted? Oh, that's goofy. It got halted 1 cent above my stop loss to the downside, which means I'll probably get filled. Oh, that's insane. What are the odds? All right, so we can see here this one is still kind of working its way through. So if we did enter at 40.72 or just above that, you'd currently be up about 7 or 8%, kind of fluctuating right now, with a max potential so far of just under 11%. So again, that's an opportunity where you could lock some profits. I did not trade this one, and I'm not going to trade this one, but it's same exact concept, right? We got an area of value here on this level, right? Does this part make sense, the level? And then we got a color change, an engulf to the upside. That gives us an entry threshold, a risk, defined risk, and then a multiple of that as a take profit in the given direction that we want the trend change to go. Does that part make sense to everybody? I try to make it as simple as possible. But I know there's a lot of moving parts, and I know not everybody is a full-time trader, so if anybody has questions, feel free to ask. All right, let me look at save real quick. What were you looking for on save? Were you looking for a day trade? Swing trade, okay. What do you like about this company? Are they financially strong? Are you okay leaving your money in here overnight? Are they going to drop a catalyst potentially? Wipe out your savings? I hope not. Just want to make sure that we're prepared. Honestly, don't know. Okay, well that's an opportunity we can explore, right? So just looking at this on the 1 day time frame, we've got a good area here, and we've got a good area here, right? Lots of room to gallop, maybe even down here, but I don't really like that too much. Right, so we're gonna look for trade opportunities within these two zones, okay? And we can go all the way down to like the 15-minute or the 5-minute, and we can just look off those levels for things like engulfs or whatever we specifically like about whatever trade setup we want to use for confirmations, right? So in this case, I don't really see too many that are great other than maybe this guy, but these candles kind of dip below. So maybe you would have taken some small risks here, super small. Like, see how small this risk is? Like just that to that. It's super small. It's like 2 cents. That's the kind of thing we want, right? And then you've got like 60 cents to the upside in exchange for 2 cents of risk. That's what we're after here. This one just didn't have one off this level, so we might get a little retest and then a potential push to the upside off that level. But, you know, it depends. It depends on whether or not you like the company. I'm just going to kick this back over here because this should be another minute or so. It should open up. Now, this bid-ask spread on this is going to widen up, and I expect to get stopped out. It's going to be probably a little bit of a choppy order matching fiesta here as soon as that opens. At which point I'll just look for another super low risk entry off of a potential level. So, in the meantime, we can look for some metrics. We can do some research here on save. So quick ratio, current ratio, both below $1. That's a risk factor for me. Low insider ownership, it's below 50%. Don't like that. Institutional ownership is over 50%. I do like that. It's got a pretty high short ratio, which is good. That tells me it's not going to be a fundamental setup. It's just going to be a technical pop, right? Just at glance. And then we want to come over here. I got to do this super fast. Revenue, decent. Gross profit should be all right. Operating income, garbage. Net income, garbage. Free cash flow, garbage. Let's see your balance sheet. This is always fun. Cash, they're declining, but it's okay. Assets are up, liabilities are up. So they have slightly more assets than liabilities. Current liabilities 1672, or I'm sorry, current assets. I don't really like this. So 1512. So they have fewer current assets than liabilities. So that means if they close the door, they'd survive for less than a year based on their short-term liquidatable assets compared to their expenses like payroll and rent and things like that. Yeah, so not a good fundamental investment, in my opinion. So just this, yeah, there we go. So I just got stopped out. So in that case of save, it's just a quick pop, in my opinion, just a technical pop. All right. So I did get stopped out on my 2 of my remaining 3 out of my original 7 shares. I'm sorry, all 3, sorry, at a profit. So we entered that at 630, I think was the fill. We sold the rest for, 718 or whatever. Not bad, not bad, not bad. All right, if I just go to orders here, you can see. So I did one earlier today for $8, another 70-cent trade. 8 to 870, and then I just did the 629 up to 718. So not bad, not good, not bad. Now if we come over here, I've got my 59.64 for the day, right? So I can just open up another $50 thing when it's time. Not going to, but I just want to have it ready. I'll set that to a buy stop. And I can just repeat the process. So let me just erase all these lines that I don't need anymore. Okay. And I'm just going to move this line up here. This is not a threshold. I'm not going to buy as soon as it breaks above this. I'm just going to walk it back down into this level. And then if we get a nice tight compression like we did here, I'll take another entry. Otherwise, I'm not doing it. So days realized is up to 10.61, so we're over 1%. It's like 1.25%, I think, 0.3. So not a whole lot, obviously, but it's a small account. So. What else we got cooking? This all makes sense to everybody, I hope. Also, let me make sure I'm not taking over anyone else's event right now. I don't want to cut anyone else off. Well, the PBU guides have a meeting in 16 minutes, so if you're a PBU guide, you can't watch the rest of this. All magic has a price. I'm just kidding. You guys are fine. Did that whole trade make sense? For a quick question, if I buy an option today and sell tomorrow, it is not a day trade. That is correct. So any round trip change of ownership within one trading day does not count as outside of the same trading day, doesn't count as a day trade. Now, if you sell in the morning and buy in the afternoon, that's a day trade. Even though you're not buying and selling in that order, it's still a day trade if you do that round trip change of ownership. Yeah, that's a common misconception, but that is 100% a day trade. Yeah, it's gonna be the king. Yeah, and that's something you can test out, right? If you if you go to your account page right here, like obviously I got nothing to hide. You guys see all my stuff. It says I have one day trade left. Now, if I sold something I was holding overnight and then I bought it back, this number would be one less. Oh, all right, so this candle here closed, so I'm just going to move this down. And again, this is not a threshold. I'm not going to buy as soon as it breaks over this level. We've already failed the $7 level, and that's just not a good setup. And if I make this decision and I say, I'm not going to buy when it breaks over this threshold because it's in the middle of a range, and it blasts and it goes up to $10, I'm not going to beat myself up and feel bad about it because this is the information I have in the moment to base my decisions on. And that's exactly what I'm going to do. Now, if I wanted to, I could assess whether or not this risk size was tolerable enough. It's 37 cents risk. I could justify it, but I don't want to because I'm live streaming and I want to show you guys the importance of looking at areas of value. Not in the middle of a range on something that's got an impulse, pullback, and then probably H-shaped continuation. It's also a hype stock, so it could go anywhere. But that's what I see a lot of. I see a lot of people see an opportunity in context that doesn't make sense, and then they beat themselves up when it happens to run. And you can't do that to yourself. You had no way to know it was going to run. Nobody here is supposed to be predicting things, right? We're not psychics here. Okay, we got to treat this like a science. You have probabilities to trade with, and you can use systems that are mathematically empowering for your portfolio growth. If you just try to guess, you're going to fail. I guarantee it, because that's not sustainable. No. So if you do two different companies, that's okay, because it's not a substantially similar position if it's two separate companies. Just to answer your question. Yeah, you're good. Yeah. Like you can hold 5 stocks overnight and you could sell them all in the morning and then you could buy 5 completely different stocks and you're fine. But if you bought any of the ones that you already sold, that's a day trade for each time. Yes, sir. Thanks for asking that because that kind of helps everybody. You don't do that anymore. Yeah. It could be rough. All right, so for this one, I'm gonna just leave this yellow line here. I'm going to get rid of this red one because we don't care about that. You can see pretty quickly what's happening here, right? They got these impulses to the downside to fill the gaps, right? They both kind of did their little gap fill business. Then they got a bounce off of that, which we caught, right? Just the 25% plus pullback. Now we're kind of heading back into low seeking behavior here. So in this case, the bulls have one opportunity to push it up, right? And in that case, if it can break over this level where this high just formed, great. Ideally, we get a break over the new high. But if not, we're going lower. And that's in most cases. So no need for me to try to get ahead of that and say, oh, I think this is the candle that's going to be at the bottom and it's going to push up from here, right? Because that doesn't make any sense. That's gambling. What I can do is say it has been the bottom down here and there's a justification for it to potentially be a bottom again. And I can find low risk opportunities in the same area, just like we did last time. And maybe it'll work out for us. If it does, I'll make more profit than I would lose if I took the risk and lost, so it's a win. As long as I trade successfully, I will become profitable. If I don't trade successfully, no matter how many profitable trades I have, I won't be profitable. Long term. Okay, this candle here has about a minute. Who dat? What's up, Nikki? And this is the boring part, is watching the candles go down. We gotta watch the paint dry once in a while. 20 seconds left on this candle. How do you become a candle master? I am far from a candle master, but if you're looking to find success trading using candle analysis, the goal is for you to take a back seat. Let the candles do what they're going to do anyway, and then not try to impose your will on them. That's all you got to do. Okay, so now we're kind of getting a little bit closer to where I want it to be. I'd like it at least down here in this area, below like 650. I think 686 is still pretty high. It's going to be a high risk trying to get that through 7, but at this point, I'd probably be comfortable enough to grab a potential buy if it does break over that yellow line. So all I'm doing, I'm just moving this yellow line down above the open, right? So if you look up here, the up here, the OHLZ, the O stands for open, H is high, L is low, C is close. I'm just putting it above the O by 1 cent over the open of each previous candle. Nikki, you got a hot mic, by the way. Oh, she left. And this way, it's just telling me the bears are done selling, and the bulls have at least reclaimed the opening price of where they first kind of kicked off that period of time. That's all I care about. All right, so I think we're going to get some heat here in a little bit. Okay, so at this point, I'm okay potentially getting filled here, but I think I'm going to go ahead and place this order. It's a super high risk, because if this wedges, we get a descending wedge, but I think I like the volume here. I like the order book. I like the way it's stacked. I'm going to take a risk. So this is high risk, which means, you know, in theory, we'd be using a much smaller position size, but it's my last day trade of the day, and I think I'm pretty confident in this push, so it's okay. Okay, so I'm not in yet. I'm just putting it here in case it gets filled 1 cent above the open of this candle. If it doesn't, and we push lower, I can then move this order down and just keep pushing it down until we get to this level. So it's a just in case kind of thing. I love you too, Farouk. I'm glad you're here. I'm glad everyone's here. Days like this, though, you really want to slow down and wait for those setups. Don't try to force things, because you're going to hurt yourself. And it's not good. It doesn't feel good. So we got another ZR algo right here. You guys can see these symmetrical walls on both sides and the uptick in time and sales. So we got a good mix. We got speed. Now we need some 4 or 5 digit orders to come through, and then we'll be good. That's good. There's a 7K in there. That's good size. All right, here we go. Let's watch the tick chart because it's crazy. All right, so we're looking for a big pop. There we go. And what was my sell on that? I think I'm going to look for... Yeah, you know what? I can sell 4 at 875. So let me just turn this on. I was just joking around with that. All right, so my stop loss is going to be here below 642, and that's the low of the lower of either of these two candles. So whichever one has the lower low, in this case it's 642, right here the L. I move my stop loss, in this case it's a mental stop loss, 1 cent below that, right? Because we can always have a double bottom and then a push, and I don't want to get stopped out on that. So that provides me with, I'm just going to erase this yellow line here, 687. 687 minus 642. I'm going to double that and then add it to 687. And that's 777. So anyone who's going to the casino later. So that'll be my initial target where I'd look to sell at least 4 of my shares. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to create a sell order. And I'm going to do 777. And that should, you know, essentially we've just established a range, right? It's going to push up to this one or it's going to push down to this one. Either way, we have an outcome. We can control that. We control our risk exposure. We don't get to pick which direction it goes. We just get to pick whether or not we're in it. And I still have my control key set up. So if I hit control 3, for example, it'll just close the position. So once it breaks down here, I close it. And this is my last day trade. So after this, I'll end this stream because I know the guide's got a meeting coming up and we got more live trading later on. But I just wanted to record this and show you guys kind of how I do this strategy in real time on something that's crazy high risk. Just to show you guys that it, you know, having a system makes all the difference. And when if this pushes up, we'll see if we get a 5 candle rule. If we do, that's great. If not, we'll just sell the majority at the target and we'll move our stops up for the validated higher lows. Yeah, it doesn't feel good losing $630 on Nvidia. I don't know how much of that. Your portfolio that is. But losing any triple digits or quadruple digits is usually kind of meh for the day. When's my next $500 challenge? It might be this, honestly, because this is a very good proof of concept for the strategy I've been teaching. I might just post this video. But I just try to get to them when I can. Starting on Wednesdays, the next month or so, I'm going to have my teeth ripped out. So I probably won't be talking too much on Wednesdays. And I might not be talking too much on Fridays. So I'm going to try to get that squared away, and then hopefully I'm not too loopy. I don't care about the pain. I just want to be able to talk and you guys understand me. So if I'm, you know, if I got gauze and stuff in my mouth, for example, I won't be able to talk too much. So this Friday, Ethan might be covering my live trading at Market Open. All right, so this is officially over $100 for the day. So 1/8 of my account, basically. Portfolio is up 14%. Now, a good chunk of that's this NEO right here. It's up $84 for the day. A very small piece of that is speculation, which is what we're doing on AMC. So for that, it's 1061 plus my 7 times whatever this range is. What's that, like 90 cents? That'll be about another $6-7 bucks. My name is Steve, and I hate it. Like the blandest name. Sorry if there's any other Steves in here, but you guys probably get it. All right, we reclaim 7. That's a good sign for the bulls. Then in theory, we should easily push over 8 and then up to 875 or higher, in my opinion. Let's see where the monster wall is. So the monster wall is going to be at 976 for right now. So that's up here. So let me just go ahead and draw that. Draw that. And then we strap in and we watch. Everyone butchers your name? Is it pronounced Farouk? No. Ah, see, I butchered it. Farouk? Or do you mean like fa? Yeah. So I said it too fast, so my pacing was off. Gotcha. Okay. That's good to know. And just watching is the most boring part of this, unfortunately. This candle here should have lower volume, which will be a little bit riskier. We're over halfway through, obviously. We're about 80% of the way through. And this candle is about a little over half the volume. So this is the kind of indecision / relief candle. The candle after this, so this one, or this one should be a strong directional candle, according to the laws of supply and demand. So not this one, not this next minute, unless it just decides to blast. The next 1 or 2 candles should push us ideally over this high or below this low. Sorry. Eating M&Ms as we do this. All right, we got 30 seconds left. And what I can do here is I can also just do this. 641 and then 777. Set that to 4. And what I'm doing is I'm setting up a bracket for 4 of the 7 shares, and then I'm going to do the same thing for 2 of them. Okay. And then this one here is going to be 976. And then that way, if it comes down, I've got both these orders set down here to sell 6 of the 7 shares, but I've got the 2 separate targets spread out a little bit higher. And this one here will be my last remaining share. That'll be 641 as well, because I want all the stops to be in the same spot. And I want that to be like 1034. Okay. This way I've got all my stops right here, but my take profits are at different levels. And I can move it up and down if I want. Actually, yeah, let's move it up. Just for funsies. Okay, now the cool part is as price moves up, okay, remember this candle or the next candle should be a pretty significant size. We're looking for one of these. As the price moves up, I can move whatever orders are remaining for the remaining shares. Like if I push through this one, then the other 2 orders will still be active on the stop side. I can just move those up to whatever level I want them to be at. But if it comes down, they all stop out. Okay, so for this candle, I'm looking for it to be at least 60 to 70 cents. I'd like 70 cents personally. So let's see, this is opened at 696, so we'll do 766 should be the kind of the threshold on that guy. So we'll do one of those. We'll make it big and fat. Now we'll do it like that. Okay. I don't like that color. Let's change color. Purple. I don't like purple either. So this candle and or this next candle should be a ideally a 70-cent candle, but we'll see. Yeah. That's a me. Long story short, either one of these candles pushes 70 cents, we easily hit this target, in my opinion. because that means we should have enough strength to push through this wick. We got 2.5 minutes left on this candle. And we got the zone recovery algos are stacked. You guys see these? These all 10K walls. They're all matched. You got a 10.1 here and a 10.1 here. You got a 10K here, a 10K here, 10.1 here, 10.1 here. Just all up and down. They're just looking to catch those breakouts. So GameStop is pushing up, which is good for AMC, so that should carry us higher. 2 minutes left on this candle. I kind of wish I didn't have a margin call on my other portfolio, the 50K one, because I'd rather be trading this on there. But oh well. Alright, looks like we're going to hold 7. Ideally. We had a nice little volume shift on that. So you'll see that in the form of a small gap here, little push up, retest, and then a push up. So we'll see if that can push over this candle and then over that wick, and then we should be good. Otherwise, if we fail 7, we'll probably come down here somewhere and catch this. Who knows? I don't know. I don't work here. All right, Colamp, have a good one, man. Glad you got to hang out for a little bit. Hopefully this stuff made sense. I'm here rambling like a fool. We got 50 seconds left on this candle. We don't have world-renowned rapper 50 Cent. He's not here. It'd be cool if we had him in the Discord, though. That'd be kind of cool. All right, so I don't think we're going to get our 70-cent candle on this one, so let me just delete that vertical line. That means this should be the big show right here. Which also means I'll have to move this depending on where that candle opens. 2 seconds, 1 second. Beepity boppity boop. All right. This candle here opened at 7, so we do 769. Easy peasy. All right. So we should see a big strong push or a big strong sell off in this candle. Got a nice big indecision candle right here. But it's on decreasing volume, so that means everyone's kind of holding back for a little bit, seeing which direction it's going to go, and then we should get an insurge, and then volume should just carry it, whatever direction it decides to break. So on a micro scale, if anyone cares to look at that X-ray, what we would normally see, right, if we draw these two lines, is we would see a break, and then a retest, and then a confirmation either to the top side or the downside. That's what we'd be looking for in this particular case. And it would basically be the range of this candle acting as the top and the bottom, the high and the low there. It is interesting that it's come back below 7. That is intriguing. We still have zone recovery sitting on it. And we're now officially below this candle, so let's look at the 1 minute here. Let me just draw a line there. And we'll see if we get that retest at the downside. Or if we get a big strong rejection. Okay. So that's the range we got to break. That's where the algos are probably going to want to be set up. 710, 670, 723. All right. I should be like right above our yellow line here. So I think we're going to take a top side. Did that just get halted? Oh, I was gonna say that doesn't make any sense. It's decreasing volume and it's been compressing price. Latvian, what's going on, man? It can be an 8 meeting if you want. Did you miss the first trade? Oh, hey, what's going on, amigo? Uh, I'm just hanging out. Just, it's not what it looks like.
Yeah, looks like you just want to play a little AMC.
No,
Is that what you
we
did?
thought about GME.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean that looks like quite a like waterfall kind of going off a cliff today
Yeah, a
with
little bit.
AMC.
But that's okay, right? We caught the bounce. We traded that perfectly, almost. I don't want to toot my own horn here, but we traded the hell out of it. And then
Yeah, that was a nice bounce.
yeah, we'll either get the little wedge or we'll get a break to the upside and break over this high.
It is a little wedge form in here, yeah, but it's above the SM. I don't know what chart you're on, what minute chart. I'm on a 3 minutes above the SMA 20, and it's sitting like right on the RSI 50, so it's like indecision.
Well, the GME indicator is going up.
The GME indicator, yeah, GME is pushing a little bit better than AMC.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh no, I never. So I never followed this down for the engulf stuff. So that's my bad, guys. So just to walk you guys through, just moving it down lower lows and lows and lows and lows. So every red candle, basically, I'm just pushing this down to the top of each candle until there's a color change. So this right here would have been the entry. This would have been the risk on that, and then your take profit would be up here at a 1 to 2. My bad. I completely forgot to I neglected this chart.
What is the cat taking a nap right now on social? Is that's what's going on? Little cat nap?
Probably. Oh, the roaring.
Roaring kitty.
Have my own name.
Probably ran out of me. He probably ran out of gifts for a little while because of those things he was going through them like crazy last night. So
Was he?
probably taking a
Sorry,
break.
kitty. He used up all his buying power for the day.
Yeah, yeah, that's probably what it is. He's probably maxed out his GIFs posts.
Yeah. He's got to buy the subscription.
He's been gone 3 years. A lot's changed on Twitter. Like he's not a premium member. He's not, he's not getting all the access he needs.
They put all his stuff in storage.
Characters. He's only allowed 100 characters. He's like, shit, I can't even write that much on here anymore.
Mm-hmm. You got to do it all on a graphic.
Is Austin trading this on the trading floor himself? Is he there like taking trades?
Oh, maybe, yeah. Just patting people on the back saying, hey, buddy, what's up? You heard the voice, didn't you?
He's there.
Yeah.
Annoying kitty.
Yeah, we're just watching the paint dry here.
What's my position looking like today? I don't know why.
It's too late. It's too late, cat.
Not a cat. I like the stock.
Yeah. Hey, what do you think? What do you think about us reaching out to 50 Cent, trying to get him in here? Get him in.
Is he going to push up the stock by 50 cents? What's he going to do?
I don't know. It was a fortunate little accident earlier, but I think now we got to reach out to him and see what his thoughts are.
Yeah.
See if he wants to build a trading plan for himself. I think he'd be down. I mean, he seems like the kind of guy. Oh, Latvian, before you got here, I was talking and I mistakenly said 50 cent instead of cents. It's just a little callback. All right, GameStop is up over 46 again. Woo, wee,
Yeah,
woo.
and then we got the AMC push as well.
Absolutely.
One can't go without the other, guys.
Yeah, ask him if he's trading. He says just a little bit. We got it. Gonna break over 47 now. There it goes. All right, that's all I care about. Yeah, so you guys can see the 10Ks, 10.9, 10.3, 10.1. So there's at least 3 different algos, ZR algos on AMC right now of magnitude. So there's an 18.8, so I don't know if they're joining forces right now. We watched 103K wall, I think, just get immediately destroyed earlier on this bounce.
Yeah.
It was beautiful. I know a good chunk of it fell to add to it because it got chipped away a little bit and then it just got pulled. It was the... Oh, I can't remember what level it was at. I think it was like 720 or so. It was like right here at the top before it got halted. It was crazy. Or maybe it was before it. I don't remember. Either way. All right, so it looks like my little vertical line was off by 1 candle, guys. Sorry, that's my bad. AMC is a wild card. It was supposed to be one of these 2 candles, but these both turned into indecision candles with lower volume. Then we eventually got that breakout with increasing volume that we were expecting on one of these 2 candles. Getting fired. Oh, win-win for me. No, I'm just kidding. No, I like it here. So, yeah, GameStop is halted again. It's like the 19th time today. All right, let's check out this order book here. 18.6K, 719. What do we got to the top side? We got a 778, 72, 798. And then we got ourselves a... yeah, I think we'll be good. This should continue nicely. In my opinion, if you will. For the Frenchman in the chat. Alright, so we got our break, right? The break that we were looking for. So we may see a retest of the 718 level. We'll see if we get that. Let's kick down the 1 minute just so we can identify that. And then this will give the maybe a secondary opportunity. Sorry, for the scalpers. So let me just draw a line. When in doubt, draw lines, right? That's how we do. So this candle here. Okay, so within maybe this 2 or 3 cent range, we should see some support. Now this is on the 1 minute. I moved down. We're going to be looking for a potential secondary entry here to rally up more people for a push over this high, 744. Okay, so this candle here has closed. So new threshold would be 736. Let's see if we got a wall there. Not yet. All right. There's one at 732, 729, 740. So right now we're just looking at the X-ray. I just want to see where the likelihood of volume to come in would be. And I assume it's going to be somewhere between these 2 yellow lines, but we'll see. NVIDIA goes, yeah, that's what happens, man. As soon as we're out of a position, they let it go. That's always rough. All right, I'm going to go ahead and move this down here because we're at the 1 second left mark. So we're compressing right here. So if I were to look to get into this trade, which yeah, I might buy one. Nah, I'm not gonna average up on this one. If I were to buy, I could look for a break over 729 here. So I would essentially set a buy stop at 730. And then my risk would be down here at the low of this wick. So now this has failed to hold, so we're back inside this. which means this order would then be canceled. So no entry on that. Now, if this comes back up and the candle closes, then we'd look for an engulf, because that's a beautiful setup, but that risk would still be pretty big. All right, so it looks like this candle's going to close down here, which means it is not a valid opportunity for the engulf strategy off of a level. So we'd have to wait for the next one. Now, we did get some significant volume on this, which is good. I based the risk on the wick, personally. You could just use the level, like right below the level if you wanted to, if you're trading it off of a level, if the wick is like way down here. But I personally just prefer to use the wicks of the candles. I just take like if I look at these three candles, for example, because it's red and then the color changed to the upside, so all three of these candles would need to be part of that. I would just look at the lower of each of these candles that are involved, and that would determine where my stop loss would go, is 1 cent below that. Whereas over here, there's just two candles involved, right? Because it's an immediate engulf. So I would have the entry right above this red candle right there, and then the stop loss be right below this red candle's wick because it's the lower of the two. Does that make sense? Okay, great question. Okay, so I'm just going to erase that line there because we're kind of in that previous, we're in this doji range. But we did get strength to the upside. We just got to see it return and then continue. Let me check the events because I don't want to keep going on this one if we got a okay, we got 40 minutes for bull spread trading. I'm going to peek at the 1 minute here because we're starting to get some pretty good interest on this. Just going to watch the top right corner here. The other printing levels right there, they're just printing like 1 and 2K blocks. I want to watch what happens to these blocks. Like that one just got chopped down, chopped. So they're adding and removing. It was 1,000 and then it was 800, then it was 1,000 again. That's a volume threshold test, so got destroyed. So we'll see what happens if we get a, yeah, they pulled the 732 wall, which means we're probably going to rally here. I'll kick it back up to the 5 minute. And in this case, you've got an 18-cent risk off of this level. Like they're both touching here, which is good. Both candles are above or close enough above the level. So if we get a break over this, there should be plenty of people jumping in. And that'll be a nice little deformed double bottom. It just needs the volume, that's all. Everyone's just kind of sitting back waiting, and then as soon as they see their buddies jump in, they're all going to jump in, and it'll be a beautiful thing. Is it 740? So 757 is going to be kind of the big number. You see they just split that 20K wall down to 10K each, and then they spread it to 749. That means we should push over 771, in theory. There's 20K right here at 691. So basically what we're seeing is everybody wants it to go up for the most part, as far as the analysts, the technical analysts, right? Which hedge funds know that. They know that there's too much strength here, or should be, in theory, too much strength here to push down. But they need to have their orders filled in certain areas where there's a lot of liquidity. So what they're going to do is they're going to have these chop zones, and they're going to try to raid stop losses in wick zones. Because they have much, much bigger orders that need to get filled in bulk, and they can't do that like in the middle of a candle. So what we're seeing here is a bunch of push-pull manipulation and scaring to get the price to go into these zones. That's what the zone recovery algos do. They control the price between two levels, and they load up on both sides of it in opposing directions. And then once it gets to an area where they can get a massive fill, you see those chops? You probably didn't see that. It just goes chop, 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 just like that. It'll be like gradual, 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 and then chop. That's what we want to see. That's those big, bulky orders getting filled. Like that. See how it kind of looks like a breathing machine, sort of? That's what we want it to look like. Ideally to the upside, though, not to the downside. We can't ever predict which way it's going to go, but we know those are the precursors to breakouts. So when you see stuff like that, you look at the order book and see where the algos are set up. And in this case, it looks like they're kind of even. So that tells me they're probably wanting the price to come down so they can load up more, and then they'll probably push it back to the upside. We shall see. So close that out. Also just want to check the recording here because it's 71 minutes and I don't want to go too much longer with it. Otherwise I'll be here all night uploading it. All right, so in this area, we should see some potential. So I'm going to kick it down to the 1 minute. And this will be our potential support area right here, right below this wick. Oh, not that. I don't want to do that. I want to draw a box. Should be right there to there. So I think as long as we can close above that, we should be golden. If we close below it, we're coming down some more. Oh, Jay's not here. I was going to say Jay would probably love this. GameStop is halted again, as always. 20 seconds left on this 1 minute candle, and then in theory we should blast, but we'll see if we actually get that. So next two candles should be, again, in theory, this kind of does what it wants to do. But the theory is that the next one or two candles should be pretty significant in size. So again, I'm looking for a 70-cent candle. 65 to 70 would be nice. All right, here we go. So we got another long-legged indecision candle. You see that? That's the same as the one we had before. So I'm going to go ahead and erase these two yellow lines because we don't need those anymore. And I'm going to extend this out if I can. There we go. Just going to extend that out to the side, and then should be this candle or this candle. We should blast up or down. So we're kind of mixing structural stuff, we're mixing some candle analysis, and we're mixing some volume and supply and demand stuff. So a little bit of everything. We're also mixing in some M&Ms. They're delicious. Oh, okay. So I'm glad you got to hang out. I know this was kind of a impromptu one, but I figured this is like a like once in a blue moon kind of stream. I just didn't want to leave you guys hanging with AMC and GameStop all by yourselves. So hopefully at the very least this demonstrates the strategy that I teach and that it works. For better or for worse, basically. Not every trade has to be a profitable trade in order for you to be successful. And when in doubt, kick it down to the tick chart. Just drive yourself nuts. It's hilarious. Oops, that's not what I wanted. I wanted this one. And the 5 minute. There we go. So now we can see inside of this candle if we wanted to. I was going to say right there, it looked like it was about to break. So when you see stuff like this on a tick chart, and you get these volume spikes like this. I don't know if you guys can see that. That is hugely indicative of a pop, a potential pop. So if you're a scalper, this is where you have your hotkeys set up. Oh, what's up, Porter? So again, we're at an area of support, so this right here should be enticing enough for a lot of the bullish engulf support traders to latch onto. What I will do is I'll do this. I'll put this down here in the 1 minute, and I'll put this on the tick chart. And we'll kick it over to Hakaneshi so we can see the pulse between them. Just moved that by accident. Uh-oh, did I just move that line by accident? Oh well. Oh well. And remember, this candle or this one on the 5 minute should be a 65 to 70 cent candle, in theory, right? Up or down. Don't know which, don't care. All right, so we got little pops of volume here. Not quite what I want to see, but I want to see a good, strong candle come in. Okay, so we're decreasing. That's a good pop right there. So we're starting to get some volume here, which is good. Do you guys see that? There we go. So these two are good. These are weak. So if anyone here ever tries to trade level 2, the tick chart is your best friend. Because it visualizes what you see here. So if you're not familiar with stuff, oh, that's good right there. Yeah, we're about to run. Up or down. Just swing that back over to the 1 minute. That's a good pop right there. Okay, I see this back and forth, but I don't see a whole lot of volume just yet. That's a good one right there. Right. That's another one. Yeah, it's pretty good size. So remember, we want to see the chop between two specific, like this right here. We want to see big pops of volume. So we're starting to get some, but the price action itself isn't clean enough. I want to see that almost barcoding, right? I just want to see like chunks here, and then little pops of volume in between, and then I want to see those increase, and then that's when we see the breakouts. Okay, so we're back in the support zone. This right here is what I like to see right here. And then these little volume guys, right? I don't know if you guys can see that on the screen share. I'll assume $5 a month for Robinhood Gold is worth it. You can make that back with the interest if you have a certain dollar amount in your portfolio. I personally don't use Robinhood Gold. I just don't need it. But I mean, just you're gonna have to read through the features and decide whether or not it's worth it for you, personally. I don't use it. Oh, this right here is beautiful. Like this, like these two zones specifically, these are exactly what I like, but this has the volume. Look at that right there. Beep, beep, beep. So we're just chasing little volume spikes here. Here we go. Okay, we got another little barcode scenario here. We got little tiny pops of volume, but nothing significant. I want to see big volume come in. Like 5K or higher over here would be ideal. Sorry. So for those that are curious, these like this situation right here, this flat zone right here, that's supply and demand hashing it out basically. So this is an algo. This is an algo just walking the price down. So what they're doing is they're absorbing the orders and controlling the price in a zone. This will force people to stop out. They absorb their shares. That's what they're doing. They're taking their shares. They're getting filled, and then they'll either release it to the upside or push it down even harder so that they can get more shares. So that's kind of why we see it at like that level. We're probably going to see quite a bit of down and then back up into 667 level. Just keep hitting that level again. Okay, let's see here. 649, 701. Yeah, so I think we're still relatively protected unless we come down to the 635 level. But I think we're okay here as long as the price doesn't just plummet. And if it does, that's okay because we're still net positive because of that first trade. From here up to there. So our risk range is smaller than our profit range, and that's what keeps us successful over time. Let me kick up to here the 5 minute. Sorry guys, I'm tired. Woke up at like 3:30. Is the bottom chart a piece of why your follow it down, up, rinse, repeat works so well? This is mostly just to demonstrate to you guys kind of how to identify what supply and demand look like when they interact. Ultimately, this is just a graphical representation of the time in sales. So as orders are filled, they're printed in this list, and they're also graphed here on the tick chart. So every single order that comes through has a specific price and a magnitude or an order size, a volume, if you will. So I'm just showing you guys kind of how they look graphically over time as they're printed, separated from the volume and separated from the time. Because the tick chart doesn't care about time. It just prints things in order that they're filled. So it's just kind of a final thing that we can look at to just kind of identify where things are likely to break up or down. But this is not the first step. It's the absolute last step. And I'm just sharing it so you guys can see it. I don't need this because I'm already familiar enough with the time and sales. Yeah, no, that's a good question. Thank you. Let's kick back down here. Okay, so it really, really likes this box we drew. Interesting. All right, so right here, for example, when it starts doing that back and forth stuff, that's when we look for volume spikes. So let me zoom in on this. We'll do it like right there. It's a good width. And you can also do the bars if you want. If you like that kind of Morse code looking stuff. But more importantly, what you can do is the baseline. And this is kind of what I personally like to do. So if I identify like a resistance level, for example, I could just do baseline and just put that level at my midpoint, like 667, for example. And then you can just identify, oops, you could just watch the price go above and below it. You could also do just the regular line chart if you only care about that, because there's no OHLC for ticks. It's all the same price because it's an instant print. So you're just going to see one point per tick. But I just like Heiken-Ashi because it shows me the kind of the density, like these, this. Like this is beautiful. Oh, back there, I was gonna say. And you can see the volume is really kicked up right here, which means that we're priming. So the price is getting ready to push or pull. We don't know which direction it's going to go, so we can look at things like this. You know, we see that we've got significant volume sizes coming in on these. They're still, you know, below 5K volume, but this is pretty significant. You guys can hopefully see these volume bars on the bottom here. That indicates that price is compressing, and now it should be releasing to the upside in this case. We can't guarantee that, but that's the theory, is that it should. And since we're already in place, it doesn't really matter. Otherwise, we could consider looking for a tight risk opportunity like this. All right. So the theory here is that we should easily push over 7 up to 738 probably. Oh, it's right here. And then in theory, if we push 738, we should push over this high. So we should be top hunting pretty soon. You have a $1.70? Well, more importantly, you have a paper trading account. So if you're struggling with like risk management or execution, that's a good opportunity to just have an extra clean paper trading account that you can use. All right, we're about to break our 7. Let's look at the order book here. Oh, what's up, Jay? There he is. I knew you were going to show up because I drew a box. What's going on? The legend himself? Today is J Day. I don't know if you guys knew that. World J Day. No, we're both the legend then. All right, so we're looking for a quick pop up to 738. And that is still supported, so we'll see if we get it. Chad Day. Looks like I still want to hold it down a little bit. All right, we'll play their sick little game. Chattison J-Day. AshleyChattison.com. It's a whole different website. Yeah, I'm down. It's just the data leak is like people's portfolios. It's all their SPX no-nos. They try to hide them from their spouse and get exposed. J is Chad. BTCJ. Chad isn't. It's a term for someone who's awesome. Yeah, don't tell Snowflake. All right, yeah. So it looks like they want to hold it down a little bit, and that's okay. Ugh. So tired. Ugh. Yeah, I think we're still good. We still got a little bit of protection here, so I think we'll be all right. It's just a matter of when they want to release it. I think we're in a pretty good setup here. So for the bears, this is a 5-candle rule in effect. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and then this will be the 7th candle. So if we get a break over any of these candles highs, we should be or sorry, any preceding candle high, we should, in theory, we have pretty high potential there for a multi-candle strike to the upside. So we'll see if that kicks in. Be pretty nice if it happened right here, but we can't guarantee that. You hate NVIDIA? Yeah. Well, that is an emotion. You know, hatred is an emotion, and that's, you know, it's just the hindsight goblin laughing at you, saying, "Haha, you shouldn't have sold." You know, that's how it goes. I cleaned out the 50K portfolio last Friday, right before my live trades, and that had like Plug and SPCE and a bunch of others. I just cleaned those out. Neo's up 7% for the day, for example. But I cleared it out because I wanted to get a sterile environment to demonstrate the other stuff. And then, you know, as soon as I sell, right? Monday, Tuesday, they both start running double digits. That's just how it goes. It's okay. Another $40, yeah. That's okay. You have to have confidence in the decisions you're making based on the information you have at the time, and not let the end results kind of dictate what you should have done and allow you to beat yourself up, because that doesn't make any sense. That's just confirmation bias. And that will interfere with your future decision-making skills, and then you're really messing yourself up. Yeah. That takes people a few trips for that. A lot of times. I won't tell Snowflake. I don't even think he's here. He's hiding at work. All right, so I'm not seeing the same kind of clustering here on the tick chart for right now. So I think we're just kind of in an indecision zone. So we're just going to keep following the, yeah, like right there, that's 7 candle. So I'm going to go ahead and erase this box because it is no longer valid for us. What I will do is I'll draw a line right over here. Make it yellow, make it dashed, and then we can use this to track the break of that impulse. So we'll see if we get that, or if it pushes down into stop loss for us. Either way, this is the low at 642. All these should be at 641. If we get stopped out, that's okay. If we push up, that's okay. Same exact end result emotionally. It's just reaching one of 2 potential outcomes that I accepted when I opened the position. So there shouldn't be any emotional charge after any trade. If there is, that's something we need to document and look into. Because that's how they get you. That's the dangerous stuff. It's not just the losing trades that mess us up. It's the winning trades as well. Yeah, his streams are on Monday and Friday. He will have a Q&A tonight, though, for the meetup, the Florida meetup. I think that's going to be at 7 o'clock Eastern PM. I think that's right, Nikki. Correct me if I'm wrong.
Yeah, I'm going to get the link. I'll send it to y'all in the chat.
Oh, thanks. So helpful. All right, and then we've got 13 minutes. So at 3 o'clock Eastern, Bull's going to do his spread trading live in the lounge. So we'll have to move streams there, and then I'll cut this one off because I don't want to be live trading while he's trying to teach you guys stuff. But definitely make sure you guys catch that. Thank you for sharing that, Nikki. All right, so it looks like we might be getting a little bit of a lower H-shaped continuation situation. It looks like maybe we're not going up. I don't know, and that's the cool part, is I don't have to try to predict. Hello. Yeah, Porter definitely dives deep into what into what Quench does on his streams. So if you ever have any questions about his content, Porter's your guy. Oh, did you? Nice. Yes, sir. That's like our last one. We got, I think it was like 21% or something. This little bounce right here was obnoxious. It was unprovoked. All right, we got 80 seconds left on this candle, and then I'll move this line down. And remember, for this, we're not looking to go long. We're just looking to see where the potential surge might be. So in this case, we've got, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, potentially 8 candles in a row with lower highs. Therefore, a lot of the buy stops will be below, or I'm sorry, above each subsequent, or each preceding candle. I don't know why I can't talk right now. So once those are breached, then all those buy stops should trigger, and then that'll tell us whether or not people are likely to jump in and continue that momentum, or if it's just going to be a little pop. So we can assess the behavior above this yellow line. And that should give us a good indication of whether or not we're going to get sustained movement. Now, in this case, we're starting to see that flicker that we like. I don't know if you guys can see that. That right there that we just had. Just like that. Kind of the beautiful stuff. Now, this either means big impulse or we're heading into AFib and cardiac arrest. But we're creeping up, but this is where I want to look at the tick chart, for example, because this will kind of give some insight into what's happening there. Yeah, I think that looks pretty bullish so far. All right, so we're going to move this yellow line down here. And that's 677. Go. All right, so a break over 677 should have a pop. All right. I would not have bought puts, personally. On stocks like this, I'd rather sell contracts that I have equities to cover, if that makes sense. If I were to try to grab puts, I would have done it based on structure and engulf strategy. So like right here would have been a good opportunity potentially. Here may have, but I don't like the area that it's in. This would have been a little risky. This probably would have been the best opportunity, honestly, like right here. And I'm not saying that because we have a huge sell-off, but it's at an area of potential value. That's all I care about. All right. Okay, so we're about to breach over this candle, and then we might see a good pop if that happens. So I'm going to just go ahead and keep an eye on this tick chart. Looking for 678 or higher. There we go. Boom. All right, so this should start triggering buy stops, and it should result in a push to the upside. So we've broken the technical bearish impulse. And now it's just a matter of looking at the volume as it comes in to see if that's got potential. Or if it's just going to get slapped back down. A fidgety, looking for, I don't know how many zeros that is. Looking for big profits. You've also got to configure, you also have to consider, sorry, not configure. A lot of these contracts are going to have inflated IV, which means the premiums are going to cost a lot more. And if you're buying contracts and the volume suddenly dissipates, you could get burned pretty hard, even if the stock goes the direction you want it to, just from the IV. So it's very, very risky. Even if you're right, you can still take a loss. So it's very sketchy. The play to get options on these would have been way back when Austin was calling him out and he grabbed his options. I don't know if he put the specifics of the contracts in the chats or if it was a live stream, but I know he got a good position in that way, way back. Yeah. I gotcha. Yeah. Oh, I remember your first day here. She held up your application. She does that. She throws them in the trash all the time. She's crazy. But one thing I will say is that if you're a newer trader, or if you're unsure like what you should trade and which contracts to grab and all that good stuff, it might be a good idea just to hold off on trading options for a little bit. Just because you really, really want to understand all the things that you're not sure about. And the phrase, you don't know what you don't know, is very impactful when it comes to options. So it's, they say that the day you blow up your account isn't the day that you take the losing trade, which blows up your account. It's the day that you enable options. So it's always safer just to watch. Just watch and listen and learn and just let things pass by sometimes. It's okay. I always compare it to like being a bear on the side of a river trying to catch salmon. You can just stand there most of the time, have your mouth open. Something will jump in there eventually, and then you just have to time when you close your mouth. That's the easy part. But if you're leaning over the river or standing in the river, flapping around, chances are you're going to be chasing fish. You're going to throw yourself off balance. You're going to land on a rock and crack your head open, and no more bear, right? So, we can avoid all that unnecessary risk by just standing on the shore, understanding what the fish are doing, where they're going to be at, go into the places where they're going to be jumping, and then, or they're likely to jump, and then just stand there with their mouth open. Yeah. Exactly, Fidget. Ooh, good job, Shishi. Started building a position, $5 calls, expiration June 21st on Leap Day, February 29th. Sold the last of them yesterday for 250% profit. That's good stuff, man. I like it. So this is a little bit sketchy, right? Because we had 7 or 8 candles in a row with lower highs, and then we breached that, but we had decreasing volume, and we had no pop, right? Which tells me that people probably have their buy stops higher, which means they're confident in the bearish direction. So let's see if the hedgies exploit that and burn everybody. Oh, all right, Fidget, thanks for hanging out. Still here? Nope, you left already, sorry. So let's see if we get burned here for a small loss, or if they burn all these guys and push over this high, and then this high. So we'll see what we get here. Should heat up pretty soon, though. Because this should have been the turning point right there, but we had decreasing volume. So this is the abnormality here. Therefore, let's put our vertical lines up. And we'll make these nice and skinny. And we'll look for that 70-cent candle if we get it. Oh, do you have puts? That's okay. I don't mind a small loss. I'm good. I do think it's pretty risky to take puts here, though. I mean, you got a bear flag, but this is turning into a skelly foot pretty quick. We got the heel, the arch, and the toes, so it should be heating up pretty fast. Skelly foot. Do you have defined cut points for profit and loss potential on those puts? So that way you're not hurting yourself and regretting it later? Or rewarding yourself and then being, conditioned to do it again? Okay, good. That's good. That's all I want to hear. So we got about 3 minutes. on this one, and then we're gonna head down to the lounge for Stock Buster. I didn't want to say Stock Sputter again. Or, I'm sorry, it's Bull this time, not Stock Buster. So Bull's gonna start streaming here in about 2 minutes. We're all gonna go raid the hell out of him, and he's gonna have a good time. I am gonna end the recording here. I think you guys understand the point, the plan right now. It's just gonna be sell some more than half at 777, sell more than half of what's left at 976, and then sell the remainder of it around 1173. Now those might change a little bit. I don't want to hold this into the end of the day, but I will hold it for, a little bit till it goes up. So I will catch you guys there. So let's all go harass Bull. We'll get him in the lounge, and I will. Oh, I forgot. I'm supposed to stop the recording. Sorry.